Hello everyone and welcome to the Anime Zillia, and today let's look at another potential outcome for Qrow, Bronwyn in RWBY Volume 8. Now before I start this video, I do need to say that this video will contain spoilers for the end of Volume 7. So if you haven't catched up yet, then make sure you go and catch up and then come back and watch this video. And please also note that this video, I'll be giving you information that we're already told throughout the volume, as well as speculation and my own personal perception / take on the actual way that the show is presenting itself and giving us this current situation. So this video is just basically me giving you a cool idea, if you will, that I've come up with in how they can use Qrow's character moving forward. Now, I've already done this for part 1, that's part 2 even, and part 1. Let's go backwards, why not? And basically, this video is another idea based around the same theme. So, that being said, let's see what the idea revolves around. If you haven't already guessed, it revolves around the idea of Qrow basically joining the Aesops. Now, this could possibly work despite the current situation that we've got. You know, Qrow's been arrested and Salem's actually present now. She's in Atles. So, that is something very key to kind of bear in mind when you think about this idea. So, let's start from the beginning, right? So, Qrow is actually being transported to some sort of prison. He's been arrested, he's been captured, and most likely he's going to be framed for killing Clover because of the fact that his weapon was found with blood all over it, and the blood obviously belongs to the former Aesop leader. Now, for this to actually work, let's actually take a look at good old Ironwood's perspective. Yes, I know I speak about Ironwood quite a lot in these videos. However, he's still a very vital character moving forward in the RWBY series. So, he does still play a big role. And looking at what he's lost kind of would give us a good understanding of how his character might play going forward. Because obviously he needs all the help that he can get. After all, he's lost the Maiden powers, which obviously Freya gave her powers to Penny, and he's lost Penny because Penny's now joined up with Team RWBY, which Penny was probably most likely his third in command, and probably after Winter, his second strongest ally. He's also lost Penny's father, who's a very smart and skilled man in terms of technology, and obviously he's lost Clover now. So it's safe to presume that Ironwood would need all the help that he can get. And Ironwood isn't stupid. He'll use any means and anyone to achieve his goal. And who knows, maybe he'll believe Qrow just a little tiny bit. Maybe he'll want to believe Qrow, is another way to phrase that. With the fact that he didn't kill Clover, and it was in fact Tyrion that used his weapon to slay down his friend and Ironwood's close colleague. And you know what? Maybe they'll work together to patch things out. Maybe they'll, they are close friends after all, so maybe they will kind of come to good terms. However, I have a more interesting idea, and it requires Qrow leading the Aesops. Now, maybe Robin's word isn't going to be enough. We know that Robin is basically a human lie detector at this point, and she could say, look, I'm holding Qrow's hand. I asked him if he didn't kill Clover, and he said no. And he's telling the truth. Well, maybe that's not enough to convince Ironwood. Maybe Qrow needs some good, hard evidence to support his fact, or he just needs Tyrion to come back and admit it. Because honestly, Tyrion probably would admit it. He's that crazy and psychopathic, wow, that he probably would actually own up to killing Clover. And just basically wasting everybody's time. I could totally see Tyrion doing that. Now, so, without a leader, I honestly believe that the Aesops are going to lack direction. Obviously, they take orders from Ironwood, but at the end of the day, we saw how much of an impact Clover had on the Aesops. He guided them, he told them when to fight, when to go. We saw it in that big battle in, I think it was episode 2 or 3, where they fought in the mines. Like, Clover led that. He basically said, right, Harriet that way, funnest bloke that way, muscular woman that way. Sorry, I can't remember the names, but you get what I mean. You honestly get what I mean. And what if Qrow actually goes up to Ironwood and proposes? Nope, not in that way. Shippers, keep your thoughts to yourself. It's fine. But an idea. Let's say he goes, James, let me lead your ASAPs group. I'll follow any orders you give me, and I'll guide them. Meanwhile, while I do that, I'll find evidence that Tyrion is in fact the one that killed Clover, and I'll make sure he's brought to justice and that he pays dearly. That was a bad Qrow impression, I know, but you get the idea. Like, maybe they'll take the route in where Qrow is the new leader and a new guide for the Aesops that remain, and then we could have some good, interesting matchups. Like, the Aesops could actually be used as, like, the Vegeta of Ruby. Like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know what I mean. Vegeta always goes up against the main villain, and then gets destroyed, gets squashed, and then the heroes come in and save the day. So you could have, like, the muscular, broody woman versus Hazel. You could have Harriet versus... I think Harriet versus Mercury would be pretty cool. You could have loads of different type of situations in where that plays out. I think that will be quite interesting. And with Qrow leading them, then, they'll have a lot more of a chance at putting up a good fight. And we know that Qrow is a good leader. He's got good leadership skills. He can work solo. He can also work in a team, although he doesn't prefer to. He's good at planning and comes up with good strategies. We've seen this throughout the series already. He's a highly skilled huntsman, and we've seen what Qrow can do once he's focused and is in the zone. If something is important to Qrow, he actually goes out of his way to make sure he does everything he can for that thing that's important. And the only problem I can see happening with this scenario, though, with Qrow joining the Aesops, is the feeling of trust. Will the Aesops trust Qrow? And a part of me says yes, because they've seen just how close Qrow and Clover actually were. And it's safe to presume that the other members of the Aesops saw this. They showed us this as well. They bonded together in the sense they were friends and comrades. That's how it was perceived. And, they were on missions always together. However, the real spanner is thrown into this plan/idea when the team find out that it was Qrow's weapon that killed Clover. This would start putting trust issues and doubt into the whole idea, and maybe they'll turn on Qrow, and maybe Qrow wouldn't be able to explain himself. However, speaking of another interesting idea about Qrow joining the Aesops, this could also be a way in which they recapture Team Ruby and force them back to working with Ironwood, or just to do nothing at all. Because let's be honest, Team Ruby and Ironwood still have to kind of come to terms and work together. They can't handle Salem separately. I can't see a scenario where that happens. So they have to kind of make up somehow and come to a plan that works best for both parties. And maybe Qrow is the one who joins the Aesops, captures Team Ruby, and makes them work together again in unison and making Atles a lot more safe and a lot more of a threat to Salem and her forces. But anyway, this has just been a bit of a reach of an idea, maybe, possibly, something that could work. So let me know your thoughts on this idea, whether or not you think it's possible, or plausible, in fact, or not, down in the comment section below. Like always, if you have any other ideas and how they can use Qrow's character moving forward, I'd love to know, so drop them down in the comments. Greatly appreciated. Like the video if you did, subscribe if you're new so you never miss a video from me, and for all things anime. Apart from that, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.